It had been raining all morning, not the kind of rain that's cinematic or beautiful, but that cold, colorless drizzle that turns the city gray and makes everything feel heavier. My phone lit up with a message I wasn't expecting. It was short, 3 words. It's over. Goodbye. No explanation, no closure, just a full stop after 5 years of building something I thought was unbreakable. I sat there in my car, hands locked on the steering wheel like I was trying to stop myself from falling apart. The windshield blurred. I wasn't sure if it was the rain or if I was crying. It didn't really matter. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I didn't even curse her name. What I felt was worse, numbness. That strange vacuum where you don't even feel like you're in your body anymore. As if the world is moving forward but your soul is standing still. The truth is, I didn't just lose her. I lost the image of myself I had built around her. The version of me that only made sense when she was around. And for a few minutes, maybe hours, I hated everything. Her, myself, the silence, the kindness of strangers who didn't know what I was going through, the sound of laughter on the street like the world had the audacity to keep turning while mine had stopped. But eventually, the numbness started to speak, not in words, in quiet, in small recognitions. Something inside whispered, "This moment too belongs to you." And that's when I remembered the first Stoic truth, one I had read 100 times but never truly understood until now. You don't control what happens, only how you respond. Most people think Stoicism is about coldness, emotionless detachment, but they misunderstand it. It's not that you feel nothing. It's that you become aware of what you feel and choose not to be ruled by it. That morning, alone in the car, I didn't deny the pain. I just let it pass through without building a shrine to it. I started talking to myself, not out loud, but in the quiet voice that comes from somewhere older than thought. "It's not up to you," I said to myself. "She left. The rain falls, the world spins. These are not yours to command. What is mine? My breath, my presence, my response." And that response began with a breath. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I remember it vividly, like I was breathing not just for air, but for sanity. The first Stoic truth to repeat every morning is this: I am not in control of the world, but I am in control of myself. You say it not as a victim, but as a free man, a man who stops wasting his strength on external storms and starts building his calm from within. There's no freedom in wishing the world were different, but there's infinite power in deciding how you meet the world. So I turned off the engine, got out of the car, and walked slowly through the rain. No umbrella, no destination, just motion, just being. That was the first morning I truly belonged to myself. A few weeks later, I ran into someone I used to work with. He was sharp, successful, always had the answers. But this time, he looked different, disoriented. His voice was forced, like every sentence was trying too hard. "Burned out," he admitted. "I wake up and dread everything. Emails, meetings, people, even my own reflection." I knew that feeling, not just the fatigue, but the spiritual corrosion, that slow decay of the soul, when you live a life divorced from meaning. And I asked him something I had started asking myself every morning. What are you choosing to serve today, your ego or your essence? The second Stoic truth is this: my time is borrowed. Today is not owed to me, it's a gift. When you wake up, don't assume the sun had to rise for you. Don't assume the people you love have to be there. The Stoics spoke often of memento mori, remember, you will die. But that phrase isn't morbid, it's liberating. It reminds you that every breath is rare, every morning is undeserved. You don't get to own life, you only get to participate in it, consciously or unconsciously. So I started waking up differently, not grabbing my phone, not rushing, just noticing. Noticing the sound of the birds that always seem to start before the sun, noticing the softness of the bedsheets, noticing that I was here, still. That kind of noticing, it changes you. It shifts you from what do I need to do today to who do I want to be today. The anxious mind rushes, the stoic mind pauses. Even now, when I feel overwhelmed, I tell myself, this might be the last time I get to feel this overwhelmed, and it makes me grateful, not afraid. That's the paradox. The more you face death each morning, the more alive you feel. I remember standing in front of the mirror one morning, preparing for a job interview I didn't want to go to. I hated the idea of pretending, smiling, selling myself, using words like synergy and team player. My reflection looked tired, not from lack of sleep, from lack of honesty. So I leaned closer and whispered, "You are not your title. You are not your income. You are not your resume." The third Stoic truth is this: who I am cannot be taken from me, only forgotten. Titles can be stripped, money can be lost, people can leave. But character, that's yours. It's the only thing death can't steal. The Stoics didn't care how rich or poor you were. They cared whether you lived with arete, virtue, excellence of soul. So I went to that interview not to perform, but to be present, fully, honestly. If they liked it, great. If not, I hadn't lost anything real. Freedom isn't found in having more. It's found in needing less to feel whole. And that morning, I realized I was enough before I even opened my mouth. That kind of truth doesn't scream. It doesn't need to. It just is. Like a mountain, unmoving, steady, silent. You don't chase it. You remember it. A few months after that interview, I took a trip up north. No reason, really. Just needed to get away from the noise. The city had begun to feel like an argument I didn't want to keep having. So I drove until the roads narrowed, until trees replaced buildings, and the signal on my phone gave up trying. It was a small cabin by a lake, no Wi-Fi, no TV, no one to impress. The first night I was restless. My hands kept reaching for distractions that weren't there. My mind was loud. I was addicted to being overstimulated. But the second night, something changed. I stepped outside at 2 a.m., barefoot in the cold grass, and looked up. The sky was endless, full of stars so bright they didn't feel real, and for the first time in a long while, I felt small, gloriously, humbly small. The fourth Stoic truth came in that moment. The world does not revolve around me, and that's a relief. We spend most of our lives trapped in the illusion that our pain is the center of the universe, that our failures matter more than anyone else's, that we must be seen, validated, adored. But the stars didn't care who I was. They didn't care if I got the promotion, if she ever texted back, if my post got likes. And instead of feeling insignificant, I felt free. Because when you let go of the need to be central, you finally get to be real. You get to observe life instead of performing for it. You stop needing to win arguments or always be understood. You stop picking fights with people who don't even know who they are. You realize you were never meant to control everything. You were meant to participate with humility. Back in the city, I started walking differently. Not rushing, not competing, just walking. Like a man who had seen the stars and remembered his place. Sometimes people would bump into me, rushing to nowhere. Sometimes I'd be overlooked, ignored. That used to bother me, but now I'd smile, not out of arrogance, out of understanding, because the less the world revolved around me, the more peace I found inside. A few weeks later, I visited my father. He had grown quieter in recent years. He didn't talk as much, didn't argue, just watched the world with the kind of eyes that seemed to already know how things would unfold. We sat on the porch, sharing silence. He sipped his tea. I scrolled my phone. At one point, he looked at me and said, "You know, life doesn't punish you. It just teaches you in ways you'll remember." Then he went back to his tea, like it was nothing. Like it didn't just change the way I saw everything. The fifth Stoic truth hit me in that conversation. Pain is not punishment, it's instruction. How many mornings had I woken up asking, why me? Why the heartbreak? Why the loss? Why the setback? But pain isn't cruel, it's precise. It doesn't destroy you, it carves you into something wiser, sharper, more essential. The Stoics never said life would be easy. They said it would be useful. That's the point. You don't wake up hoping for ease. You wake up ready to use whatever comes. The rain doesn't apologize. The winter doesn't wait for your approval. And your suffering doesn't ask for permission to grow you. It just does. So now, when I feel pain rising, I don't run from it. I lean in and ask it, what are you here to show me that comfort never could? Because sometimes, pain is the only language that wakes you up. And I've learned, through loss, through silence, through stillness, that wisdom isn't born from knowing. It's born from enduring without losing your softness. One morning, I woke up to a message from someone I hadn't spoken to in years. He was someone I had wronged. Not in a dramatic way, just careless, immature. I never apologized. I just disappeared, moved on. The message was short. I forgave you a long time ago. Hope you're well. And that one sentence sat with me for days. Forgiveness, not deserved, not requested, but given freely. That morning, I spoke the sixth and final Stoic truth out loud. I will not carry what I can lay down. Regret, grudges, old wounds, pride. They're all weights we choose to lift each day, but the Stoic path is one of lightness, of letting go. You do your part, own your wrongs, make amends if you can, but then you drop the story. You let the flame burn out without standing in the smoke. There is nothing noble about suffering that no longer serves you. You are not what you did at your worst. You are not who hurt you. You are not the replay of the past. You are what you choose to hold on to each morning. And when you finally lay down the weight, you remember how to walk again. That's what Stoicism gave me, not answers, but space. Space to feel without drowning, space to begin again without shame, space to be small in the universe and still feel immense within. Now, each morning before the world wakes up with its chaos, I sit alone in the quiet and remind myself, softly, slowly, I do not control what happens, but I control how I meet it. This time is borrowed, and I will not waste it. My value is not tied to anything outside of me. The world is vast. I am not the center. I am a guest. Pain instructs. I will listen. And whatever I carried yesterday, I do not have to carry today. These 6 truths, like stones in a pocket, quiet, grounding, always with me. They do not shout, they do not demand. They just remind. Some mornings now, I sit by the window with a cup of black coffee. No music, no phone, just me and the hum of early light moving across the floor. I don't rush to fill the silence anymore. In fact, I've come to crave it. Because that silence isn't empty. It's full of answers I was too loud to hear before. It tells me I've made it through things I thought would end me. It tells me nothing is permanent, not joy, not pain, not people. And it tells me the most difficult truth of all, that I am still becoming, not finished, not complete, just becoming, like a tree that doesn't know its final height. It just grows, quietly, patiently, without explanation. Some people think wisdom comes all at once, like lightning, but it doesn't. It comes like water, drop by drop. You don't realize you're changing until one day the old you feels like a stranger. And when that happens, when you stop reacting the way you used to, when you choose stillness instead of rage, presence instead of performance, you feel it deep in your bones. This is the work. Not fame, not perfection, but peace. I saw her again once, the one who left. It was in a bookstore of all places. She looked happy. So did I. There was no tension, no bitterness, just 2 people who had been through something and somehow survived it. We didn't speak, just a brief nod. A quiet acknowledgement that life had moved us in different directions, and that was okay, because some things aren't meant to be fixed. They're meant to be lived and let go. That night, I walked home in the rain again, but this time, I wasn't running from anything. This time, I felt each drop on my skin like a baptism, like life washing me clean, not of memories, but of resistance. And as I walked, I remembered something Epictetus once said: if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. There's so much freedom in that, in no longer needing to be understood, in no longer explaining your peace. Because peace isn't loud. It doesn't shout or prove. It just is. It's in the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. It's in the way you hold back from correcting someone who misunderstood you, because you finally stopped needing to be right. It's in the way you face the morning with quiet resolve, not a desperate scramble for validation. It's in the way you love people freely, knowing they may leave, but your capacity to love remains. We spend so much of life armoring up, chasing strength, status, security, but real strength is soft. It's the kind that doesn't need armor. It's the man who can be fully present in pain without pretending he's fine. It's the man who can sit in silence without reaching for a distraction. It's the man who doesn't react because he understands that reaction is often just a performance of fear. The Stoics didn't live for applause. They lived for clarity. They didn't chase meaning. They lived in it, moment by moment, breath by breath. And that's the lesson. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to who you were before the world told you who to be. Beneath the layers of anxiety, expectation, and fear, you already know these truths. The 6 truths you tell yourself each morning aren't new. They're old, ancient, etched into your bones. So tomorrow, when you wake up, before the noise, before the headlines, before the hunger for more, give yourself a moment, just one quiet moment. Breathe. And remember, you don't control the world, but you do control your response. Today is a gift, not a guarantee. Who you are is not in what you own, but in what you choose to embody. You are not the center of the world, and that is what sets you free. Pain teaches, let it, and above all, what you carried yesterday can be set down today. The sun will rise again tomorrow, not for you, not against you, just because that's what it does, and your only task is to rise with it, not perfectly, not proudly, just presently, like the mountain, like the sea, like a man who needs nothing but his own breath to begin.